Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Larry Cohen.
Here.
Betsy Dennis.
Excused.
Jennifer Edge.
Here.
Christine Galba.
Here.
Frank Arnott.
Here.
Georgia Patchen.
Here.
Mary Beth Stevens.
Here.
Bill Zell.
Here.
Melissa Thompson.
Here. Mr. Hilbert, will you review the fire exits, please?
We have fire exits to the left and right behind the auditorium, and over to the side here, exits to the library.
Would you like to introduce our workshops now?
As we know, this is the last board meeting of 12/13, and as tradition dictates, we'd like to recognize the accomplishments of a number of very fine individuals. And we have the privilege of working with a very fine individual every day, and that's in the transportation department. I was talking to Frank Mulhern the other day, and he says, you know, the toughest job in the district has got to be the transportation director, right, Frank? He said that, I mean, up early, particularly when you have to call the grouchy superintendent on a snow day. But Ron Mack, our transportation director, is going to introduce some folks for their driving prowess. Yeah, if you want to come down over here to the lectern and write them down, that would be great.
Two of them here right now. So. Unless,
Yeah. Mrs. Thompson, board president, is going to assist this evening.
Transportation is a difficult job. We are up early in the morning every day, and we're pretty much the first ones in and the last ones out. We have, sometimes we're looked at as the bottom rung of the educational ladder. You can't really climb the ladder unless the bottom rung is there. And a lot of times we don't really get noticed unless there's a problem with that bottom rung. But this past April, we had a bus rodeo that was held down at Walter Pennis High School. It was 3 different chapters of the New York State Association for Pupil Transportation, the Mid-Hudson chapter, the Tri-County chapter, and the Lower Hudson Valley chapter. And Beacon was well represented in this rodeo. I'm sorry, I don't know who to face here. I have a number of individuals. Actually, we had 4 winners at the rodeo out of 5 winners. Only 2 of them are here right now.
Yeah, I have
So,
the other box.
First, I'd like to introduce my head bus driver, Linda Lane. Come on down, Linda. We competed in 3 different categories: the transit style, which are those big flat nose buses, and Linda took first place in the transit style division. And we also took second place in the transit style division. And she promised me she would be here tonight, but I don't see Sarah Erickson here yet. So I'm hoping that she'll walk in as I'm speaking about her. And we also took third place in the transit division, which was one of our drivers named Eric Rushing. So we swept the transit division for the 2nd year in a row. Last year we swept the transit division. It was Sarah was first place, Linda was second, and Eric was third. So Sarah is not here, and Eric is not here. So let me move on to the conventional division, which is those regular buses with the engines out front. And Sean Barry took first place in the conventional. Sorry, I should be speaking into the mic. for the rodeo, it involves a number of things. It involves not only a written competition, but there's also negotiating an obstacle course, including such things as a serpentine where they have to take the bus through Serpentine Alley, alley docking, backing the bus up as if you would into a parking spot, and parallel parking. So I don't know how folks are really proficient in parallel parking their cars, but these guys can parallel park school buses. And in our van division, one of our employees, who I know is not here because he's away, I believe he's at Disney World, he took first place in the vans. That's Vinny Basso. So I was particularly proud of our staff that we not only swept the transit division, but we took first place in all three categories, which is something to be accomplished. Sean's also a past winner. Last year he took third place in conventionals, moved up to first place this year. One of the nice things that the chapter does, the Mid-Hudson chapter, is they present a traveling trophy to the winners. And last year we had two of those trophies because we took first place in vans and first place in transit. This year we have all three. So I'm going to have to put in a maintenance request to have another nail put in the wall. So we just hold that. That's our first place van division. Vinny's not here. This is our first place transit style. And if you look at this, it has the names of the winners. We just finished it. We put the last name on there. But Linda's name is on here for 2003, 2010, and 2013. Sarah, our second place winner, is on here for 2006 and 2012. So this will look really nice hanging down the bus garage. Linda? And this was the plaque for the conventional style.
Thank you, Ron.
And I'd like to thank you, Harvey, and the rest of the board for your support, particularly in letting us go first, because we do get up really early.
Well, we appreciate it. Great work, and I can't help but just say, drive safe on the way home.
Thank you.
Traditionally, this time of the year, we have our postseason sports report from our most experienced administrator in the district, Eric Bovino.
Good evening. Before I introduce a few athletes here tonight, I'd like to first thank the Board of Education for their continued support. Without you, athletics wouldn't be possible. I also would like to thank all the parents for their support. You're the ones that take the kids to practices, to games. You're there in the bad weather, the good time, the bad weather, the good weather, the good times, the bad times. And I thank all the parents. And finally, the coaches. They do a tremendous job. They have to juggle their own personal lives with teaching, and then the demands of coaching. And they put a lot of time in. I really appreciate the work they do. They work with our teachers to make sure our student athletes do what they need to do academically, and I thank them. Before I put on your desk or in front of you is a copy of the latest Beacon Athletic Department newsletter. I think you also got it emailed to you. For the public, this is our newsletter. It's online. I do have some copies here. A lot of information, a lot of good articles on our kids and the accomplishments of our athletes. It's worth reading. Go online to our website, click on athletics, go to newsletters, and it's right there. We also have past newsletters available to archive. But our athletes do some amazing things, not only athletically, but academically. And if you read this, you'll know why. So please, I encourage you to go online, look at it, and I do have some copies. The first athlete I'd like to recognize is Paige Baisley. If Paige could come down. Paige is a freshman who qualified for the indoor and spring New York State track championships. Paige qualified in the high jump, where she jumped a personal best of 5 feet 4 inches this year. In the spring, she placed 12th at the state championships. Paige is currently ranked 3rd for freshman in New York State and is a leading contender to be a medalist at next year's state championship. Paige is also a scholar athlete. Paige Baisley. I don't see the next athlete. She must be playing the back 9 somewhere. She's one of
the bus drivers.
She's one of our golfers. Her name is Emily Araka. Emily was one of our first female golfers on the golf team that we started 6 years ago. She set the standard for girls golf in the district. She has all the records for girls golf. She qualified for the Section 1 championships in her junior and senior years and finished in the top 20 as a senior. And that's quite an accomplishment considering the teams that we compete against in this section, the Scarsdales, the Edgemonts, the Lower Westchester schools. It's quite an accomplishment to be in the top 20. Throughout her career, she's earned All-League, All-Section, Poughkeepsie Journal, and Poughkeepsie Journal All-Star honors. Emily is a scholar athlete with a 97.8 average and will be attending Siena College in the fall. Emily Araka. And finally, I'd like to recognize our baseball team. It was an exciting and a memorable year, winning their 2nd consecutive league championship and advancing to the Section 1 Class A baseball championships. I'm not sure everyone knows about the 1927 Yankees Murderers Row, but this year's baseball team had many talented athletes, including Beacon's version of Murderers Row. And tonight we have at least 2 here to represent the baseball team. The third is at a showcase. If Nick DiNapoli and Patrick Shetter can come on down. And before I recognize these 2, a lot of the accomplishments of our baseball team would not be possible without Coach Atwell. Coach Atwell was named League and County Coach of the Year for the 2nd year in a row. Nick DiNapoli. Nick is a junior, 2nd baseman. He's All-League, All-County, All-Section. He's a scholar athlete. And he batted .461 on the season. That's an amazing batting average, .461. Nick DiNapoli. Patrick Shetter. Patrick is a junior shortstop. All-League, All-County, All-Section, League Player of the Year, MSG Varsity Player, Class A Player of the Year. He's a scholar athlete as well. He batted .444 for the year, and he belted 3 homers and 7 RBIs versus Panis one game this year. Patrick Shetter. The third member of Murderers Row is Tony Romanelli. He's our star pitcher. He's up in, I believe, New Hampshire right now at a showcase, a Major League showcase. We're expecting some big things out of Tony next year. Tony is a junior pitcher, first baseman, All-League, All-County, All-Section, League Pitcher of the Year, County Pitcher of the Year, Section 1 Pitcher of the Year, MSG Varsity Pitcher of the Year. He's a scholar athlete. And Tony was a preseason All-American and has verbally committed to Wake Forest University on an NCAA Division I baseball scholarship. Tony will become a 2-time All-American this year, Tony Romanelli. And athletes, again, the athletes that that we recognized here tonight, the common theme was they're all scholar athletes. And I think as the athletic director, that's what I'm most proud of. The wins and losses, they all blend together. The championships blend together. But I think our coaches and our district do a great job with our kids. We make them good citizens, and we stress the academics, and that's what's most important, and that's what I'm most proud of. And I thank you, and I congratulate the athletes here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. We appreciate it. Well, now we would like to, by each building, offer recognition to our tenure recipients and retirees. And I think we might even introduce, on the other side of the scale, some new hires, some new positions tonight. So it's pretty exciting. I'd like to start with Dr. John Sieverding, our high school principal.
Thank you, Mr. Hilberg. It's my honor tonight to recognize two individuals who will be receiving tenure. One of the individuals that we are recognizing is Mr. P.J. Devine. I would ask P.J. to come to the podium, please. PJ first came to Beacon City School District in a leave replacement capacity, and he did that for 2 years, and as the saying goes, all good things happen to those who are persistent. I don't know if that's a saying, I made it up just now. But in year 3, which was last year, we had a probationary position in special ed, and it did not take me long to figure out that PJ was our candidate for that position. What I admire most about him, he always strives to do what is best for our students. I've seen him many times in the classroom, in his role, especially as a collaborative teacher with our general ed English teachers, and it's amazing the chemistry that exists between PJ and the other teacher in the room. As you all know, he also works during all the time that he's been in here, even in a leave replacement capacity. He was the lead person to work in that theater. And it's a huge job. You're taking care of everybody in the district, and lots of times when we knew someone was coming over and maybe someone forgot to put the request in there, I could always count on PJ to get it done and do it the right way. This year, as you know, the productions that he put together that most of you have seen, I know Anthony Scarone is here to support PJ. Our Beacon players are just phenomenal, and although he's well noted for that, even that aspect has a real good teaching component to it. And he's always there to help out, and I am thrilled that he is going to be receiving, or did receive, tenure, but we're here to honor him tonight. PJ? Yeah, you can stand. I don't know if there's pictures. Our second honoree is Miss Chrissy Guarino. Chrissy came to us. She's not here tonight because she is a limnologist. She does aquatic work. She's working at Vassar College with owls. I won't go into that, but the fact of the matter is that... Who? That was good. And we didn't even rehearse that. Okay, so, but Chrissy came to us from 2 different school districts where she had tenure. And in each district, there was reduction in enrollment, and she lost her job. And then she came to us 2 years ago, and it was during the summer, and she was just outstanding in her interview, but the proof of the pudding, as I always say, is can you teach? So we got some kids together, she did a demo lesson, and I was real quick to fill out the box of outstanding. What I'm most proud of her is that anything that we want to do to better our delivery of instruction, I can always count on Chrissy. Last year, we had incoming middle school students who were at risk. We put a pilot program together, and she volunteered immediately. We have great things in mind for next year with a team approach where I selected a total of 8 teachers that are going to be working with kids, sort of like the same middle school approach to teaming, and that really puts our hands on the kids and track them. She is one of those people because I have that kind of faith in her. So I am very honored that she received tenure, and we are here tonight celebrating that decision. Thank you.
Before we go on past the tenure, there's one other person at the high school that received tenure this year. Someone who I think over the course of the year I like to be able to call a friend. I have great respect for Dr. Sieverding. I came to Beacon over 2 years ago, and Beacon hadn't had a strong high school principal for quite some time. And John came in, and before you know it, it started to look like a real high school again. Things calmed down, faculty started working together, and it hasn't changed. We're very proud of John's work this year. Unfortunately, John decided he wanted a vacation, so he did it the hard way, and he was out for, was it 3 months?
3 months, yes.
But and you were greatly missed. But even though Coach Romanino was quick to jump in and save us once again. But John, you're just terrific, and we're so delighted you're here at Beacon, and congratulations.
Thank you for your work. And if I could introduce then Mr. Romanino, we have one person that is retiring, and I asked Eric to come up and say a few words about Mr. Stefanci, who will be retiring from the district. There's your work.
Ralph was one of the first people I met here in Beacon some 32 years ago. Ralph started teaching driver education at the old Beacon High School over 32 years ago and has taught physical education since then. Ralph is a Beacon High School graduate who went on to play football at Tulsa University. Ralph coached varsity football and baseball back in the 80s. He's a member of the Beacon High School Athletic Hall of Fame. And I've had the privilege to teach and coach varsity football with Ralph. After football practices, we traveled together to Western Connecticut State University to work on our masters, sometimes doing homework in his truck on the way to class. I think Donna was with us at that time. Anyway, I consider Ralph a true friend. I've known him for 32 years. We have some fond memories of our experiences at Old Beacon High School, here at New Beacon High School. He will truly be missed, and he's a good friend of mine, Ralph Stefanci.
Next, we'll go on to the middle school with our newest principal, Mr. Brian Selfish. And he'll be joined by Mr. Mulhern.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to start this evening with a new hire that we have at the middle school. It's a pleasure and honor for me as one of my first new hires to announce that Mrs. Cassandra Orser will be the assistant principal effective July 1. She has been at the middle school for the past 5 years as a science teacher in the 7th grade and is currently in the acting assistant principal role. So we're honored to have her, and I feel very strong going forward with her support and Paul Weir as my assistants that we're going to have a real strong year and get Rombout Middle School going in the right direction. So I would like to introduce her formally. She'll be announced tonight at the meeting, like right now.
I think that, Ms. Orso, you have a fan club here, don't you? Oh, they stepped out in the hall.
I gave a look back and I didn't see them.
Okay.
We can always do it again if they come in. In tenure, we're honored to have 4 recipients this year at the middle school. And I would like to start with Lauren Stahl. Would you like to come out, Lauren? Lauren has been with us for the past 3 years, longer than I have down at the middle school. So maybe they should introduce me, but here I am for them. And Lauren is the 7th grade teacher at the middle school for math. She teaches inclusion math, regular 7th grade math, and honors math, which is a challenge that she's got different expectations in each class she's dealing with. And I've had the personal experience of observing her, and with a math background, she's absolutely outstanding. So it's a pleasure to stand here and honor her with tenure this evening. Next, I would like to invite down Talita Tomaz. Talita is currently a 7th grade Spanish teacher at the middle school, and she had the pleasure of having her classroom right next to my assistant principal's office. So we spent lots of time with our rooms adjoining. In her time, she's shown herself to be an excellent foreign language teacher with a very strong background in technology. It's an honor and a privilege to state that beginning next year, we'll be offering exploratory Spanish to our 6th grade students, and Ms. Tomaz is excited to be stepping up to that challenge. So we thank her for that, and it's a pleasure to work with her as well. Our next 2 recipients have a lot in common, and I'd like to invite Mr. Mulhern down to join me. Mr. Mulhern really gets to take the credit on the hire, and I just get to take the satisfaction of knowing that they're going to be here working with me for a long time. So first I'd like to introduce Ms. Nicole Curtin. Nicole is a Beacon graduate, and what Beacon graduates all have in common is that we're tough to get rid of. We like to stick around, and we know if we stick around we're going to get into the right spot, and we're very fortunate to have Nicole. She currently teaches our 6th grade self-contained, does an excellent job. In fact, she also worked as a PE aide at Rombout while she was getting her degree, so she knew right where she was going to go. And we're honored to have her. And again, I'd like to thank Mr. Mulhern. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much, and I'm honored to introduce you tonight. And the last name I have on my list is again another Beacon graduate, Heather Winther. She has her hands full right now. You can come down. Again, a Beacon graduate, which is wonderful to see that we're going to honor another Beacon graduate here with tenure this evening. And again, I thank Mr. Mulhern for the work he put into getting her this position. She has taught self-contained at the middle school and is currently in the inclusion setting. This school year she taught 6th grade inclusion, and next year she will be stepping into the 7th grade inclusion role. So in her first few years at the middle school, Mrs. Winther's been asked to do various different positions, and it's always with confidence that we know she'll get the job done. So it's an honor as well to introduce Ms. Winther for her tenure. Before I release the four of them back to the audience, one thing that I would like to say about all four of them, and it gives me great pleasure knowing it going forward at Rombout, is the one thing that they all have in common is the technology that they bring to the classroom with them every day. So all four of these young ladies do an excellent job implementing technology in their lessons and can serve as role models for all of us. So I thank them, and I hope they continue the hard work that they put in. Thank you. For retirees from the middle school, we have two. I do not believe they're with us tonight. So I'd like to start with Mrs. Donna DeMarco. Donna graduated from Syracuse Public Schools and has spent 28 years in the teaching profession. 16 of those years have been spent at Rombout Middle School as a reading and AIS teacher. Before Rombout, she taught at Haviland Middle School in Hyde Park, and for the past 8 years has been the advisor for the National Junior Honor Society, which she's done an excellent job with every year. Although she's retiring, she's going into teaching. So she will be teaching 2 classes as of now at DCC after retirement, and I have a feeling she's going to be pushing for more. So I'd like to congratulate and give her her best wishes in retirement, Mrs. Donna DeMarco. For our second retiree, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Mr. Frank Mulhern and allow him the honor of introducing Mr. Al Allen. Hopefully he's here.
Good evening. I think when anybody works as long as Mr. Allen has, and we gave this speech the other day at our department meeting, I'd just like to get a sense, have you all sense how long he's worked. How many of you in this room are under the age of 44? He worked all of those years and more. Harvey and John Sieverding, please put your hands down. I always worry, too, when somebody says, now to honor the retirees, and they're no longer with us. I worry about that when I hear that statement. Anyway, Al couldn't make it this evening. But I want to thank the New York Football Giants for having Al here. Because in 1968, he was a tryout, wide receiver for the New York Giants. He had the height, he had the speed, he had the hands. They lined him up next to Homer Jones, and that was the end of that. He lasted about 3 weeks. But they turned him down, and he went into teaching. He started working in White Plains, New York. He was a special education teacher, got his degree while he was there, and has been at Rombout Middle School for 25 years. He's been teaching a total of 44 years. And I think this is how I introduced Harvey, actually, to Mr. Hilberg, to the Rombout Middle School. I brought Mr. Hilberg over to our Thanksgiving dinner that are put on for children and staff. And Mr. Al Allen started that tradition in 1992, and it continues today. We've got to find somebody to pick it up with him retiring. He lives in Hopewell Junction. He loves the Giants, fishing, and music. He's married with 3 children and 7 grandchildren. He mentored children overseas and here in the United States for over 20 years. Those are all the facts about him. The one thing I would say is when you work in challenged classrooms where kids are still trying to figure themselves out and you need a role model, Mr. Allen was always there. Bow tie, starched shirt, well-dressed, and ready for those students every day. And I didn't know him the whole 44 years, obviously, but I bet you all 44 years. And when those kids come in the room, they knew what they were getting, and it was always respect with expectation. And I want to thank him on behalf of everyone in the PPS department, on behalf of Beacon City School District. Thank him for helping our children know that they can achieve and helping them along the way to that achievement. Congratulations to Al Allen.
pleasure to introduce our fine principal from Glenham Elementary School, Mrs. Dawn Capello.
Good evening. I'm going to start with a new hire. So Amy Whalen, wave, has been working for the Beacon City School District since 2009. She completed her student teaching requirements at Glenham School and was hired as a permanent substitute teacher, and then was asked to be a long-term sub for one of our self-contained classes, and then again for one of our third grade classes. She then became a teaching assistant for a remedial math program. So let me stop here. Let me tell you about her certifications. And let me know if I got this wrong. Gen Ed certification 1 through 6, Special Ed certification, Math certification grade 8, and Literacy certification. I did it. So she taught remedial math as a teaching assistant and brought great foundations for our math program. This past year, Amy was a leave replacement teacher for our K-1 self-contained program. That's where I saw a lot of highlights in Amy's teaching skills, behavior management, and a lot of creativity. Amy is a highly motivated young lady who has demonstrated that she is flexible and able to teach in various educational settings and is highly proficient in incorporating technology. She's one of our go-to girls in the building for technology. The students and staff at Glenham School are excited to have Mrs. Whalen continue her professional journey at our school, and she's on a 2-year probationary position. So I welcome wholeheartedly Amy Whalen to Glenham School. I have a tenure recommendation, Rebecca Sorcy. Come on down next to me. You don't have to stand over there either. Just
Okay, let's stand close.
stay close to me. It's my great pleasure to recommend Rebecca Sorcy for tenure. She's currently working as a third grade teacher at Glenham Elementary School in a general education classroom, but she started her career at Glenham as a leave replacement teacher for the library. The library was in kind of disarray because we had a variety of different people come in and out, and she came in and grasped it and made sure that we didn't close down our library. And then she became our permanent sub the following year. Glenham School has an Arts and Education Committee, and on that we have our annual poetry tea, and Rebecca has been very instrumental in making sure that we continue to have the poetry celebration. She's provided a lot of creativity. I remember last year walking in and I saw something like the Titanic resurrected in the classroom. So there's a lot of learning structure in the classroom, and the kids have just really have benefited from her teaching. So I am honored to recommend Rebecca for tenure. Okay. So we're going to have the Sorcy girls down here. Mary Sorcy. I called you a girl. Did you get that? I got that right. Mary started off in the Beacon City School District since 1974, where she started her student teaching experience. She then worked in the district as a substitute teacher until 1987, where she was recommended for a permanent teaching position. So let me segue. I said to Mary, went through your file. There's some really old forms. They could be archived. So I said if you wanted copies, we could do that. I was pretty intrigued. Reviewing her file, it was noted that Mary fulfilled several long-term leave replacement positions until her probationary position. Letters in her file from former teachers, parents, and principals acknowledged her dedication and the positive impact she's had on the students she's taught. In 2007, Mary was inducted into the National Honor Roll's Outstanding American Teachers, and by having great influence on students' lives. So we had a little retirement party for Mary at the school. And I talked about people having an impact on you and then people having an imprinting in your lives. Mary's one of those people that have had a positive imprint in my life. Mary and I have worked together for the past 9 years, and Mary's taught me so much. So I know that she's going to be back. She's not leaving us, but it is going to be a huge loss to Glenham School to have Mary retire. I'm going to miss you. Our student athletes, just a quick acknowledgement. 2 of our student athletes, Patrick and Paige, were former Glenham students, and I am so proud of you guys. Nice job. Nice job. Thank you.
And now we have Mr. Wright from JBF.
Good evening. First and foremost, I would like to say that this is a good celebration that we have here in the district. Back in my old district, when I was in the class, I think I worked about 7 years before I realized that I had tenure. No one ever told me.
You know, if you really work hard, we probably can shorten that.
But I'm here tonight, and it's an honor to recognize Ms. Becky Shuck for tenure. Come down. Mrs. Shuck is a graduate from the School of New Paltz, SUNY New Paltz, where she received an undergraduate degree. She has a graduate degree from Western Connecticut State. Mrs. Shuck is one of the few teachers who probably was able to work in the district for a couple of years, for 6 years, resign to stay home, raise her children, beautiful children, and then come back to the school district. You know, so that shows that Mrs. Shuck is the real deal. She's a dedicated teacher. Before I actually started, I went on a tour of the school. It was a day where teachers had off. I thought that only Mrs. Richards was in the building, Ophelia Richards was in the building at the time. Took a tour of the building, and lo and behold, Mrs. Shuck was there. I wondered if it was planned, you know, but I quickly realized that Mrs. Shuck spends a lot of time in the building after hours, working, preparing the classroom for the next day. Mrs. Shuck also is a lifelong learner. You know, I see her with her colleagues all the time, planning, making sure that her students are prepared. You know, 85% of her students currently are at or above grade level, and are prepared for first grade. So, without further ado, it's my honor to recognize Mrs. Shuck.
Eric, thank you for your fine work this year as well. Appreciate it. And now, another newbie. Tarkan Chang from Sargent Elementary School.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pass the microphone off to Mr. Mulhern to acknowledge one of our tenure recipients.
We're pleased that the board has granted tenure to Allison Bybeck, school psychologist. Allison isn't here this evening, but she was hired 3 years ago at the time that this district began in special education to expand its opportunities for students who are attending schools outside of the district, namely some BOCES and private schools. And we needed someone to come in and help us with a couple of those classes. One was at Glenham School, where she originally started helping out there and then gravitated and helped develop our therapeutic class at South Avenue, which, by the way, at that time had never had special ed classes. So Ms. Bybeck was highly instrumental in that. It's one of the reasons we hired her. She had experience working with special classes, and she did a great job getting it going, and I'm happy to say that that class is still going and doing well, and when it transferred over to Sargent School this past year, Ms. Bybeck went with them to make sure that everything was okay and to help out. The other reason we hired her was because she had written the book in school she was a school psychologist for in Connecticut on RTI. When that school district didn't understand exactly what they were to do, she actually wrote the pamphlet, the manual on how to establish RTI in that school. And since I was relatively new to trying to figure out how to do it too, I thought this is a good hire. And she has come on and helped us with our RTI teams, both at South Avenue as well as Sargent. Ms. Bybeck has a unique skill. She's a great diagnostician, and she writes incredibly comprehensive and well-designed and thoughtful reports and evaluations for students, and I value that a lot in her. I am happy that she has managed the changes we've put before, and we have another one coming up next year. And I appreciate her stick-to-itiveness and her skill, her clinical skills in special education. Congratulations to Allison Bybeck for her tenure.
This evening also, on behalf of Sargent Elementary School, I'm honored to recognize two of our retirees. These two women have contributed greatly to Sargent and the district as a whole. Their impact on education will echo through generations to come through the lives that they've touched throughout their journey. First, we have Michelle Zane, who is retiring as a second grade teacher. I was speaking about the effective graduates that we've hired back as teachers. Mrs. Zane is proof of that, being a Beacon graduate. If we go back further than that, there's rumor that my mother-in-law actually babysat her. My wife's confirming the rumor here. But Mrs. Zane has been an asset to Sargent Elementary School, and we can go on, and I'm sure I would miss many of the moments that where she's turned lives around, whether it was a child or their family or both. But most recently, which I think summarizes her well, is we had a student come to America into her class, and I welcomed her, asked her how she was doing, and she told me she was 6. So that was the extent of her language capacity for English. We escorted her to Mrs. Zane's room. She welcomed her with open arms, and the student just smiled, embraced her, and since then she's been thriving in her classroom. And I think that's an excellent way to end a wonderful career. Mrs. Zane, thank you. We also have Mrs. Rita Trocan, who's not here with us this evening. She joined the district in 1985. She's worked in several of the buildings as a teaching assistant. She's returned back to Sargent for her final year in the district. Again, just a wonderful woman who's dedicated to children. You can see her compassion. She does what needs to be done. She's asking what can be done to help the school, not just her class, not just her role as a teaching assistant, but what will make Sargent a better place for kids. And tonight we're honoring her as well.
I can mention.
Okay, you can do it right from there if you'd like.
Okay. Earlier this year, we had several clerical and our food service manager retire, so although they're not here, I'd like to just mention them. Rosemary Benici, who was our school lunch manager, she retired at the end of October of this past school year, and she's worked in the district for over 12 years. And Rosemary did a great job, and she was instrumental in making the food service the department that it is. So we thank her for that. Dawn Butler was a typist in the district. She retired at the end of November of this school year. She worked in the district for over 33 years. Most of her career she worked in the PPS department. She was also a great asset to the central office where she worked the last year or two. And she was a very short time at Glenham Elementary School before her retirement. So we want to thank her for her service as well. Maria Dela Cruz is a typist. She retired at the end of November. She worked in the district for over 21 years. Her last position was in the food service department, so we had Rosemary and Maria retiring within a month of each other. She also worked in central office at the beginning of her career and at South Avenue Elementary School, so we'd like to thank her as well. And last but not least, Marianne Policello, who was the secretary to the superintendent. She retired at the end of October. She worked in the district for over 20 years. She began her career here as a teaching assistant. She was also the secretary to the assistant superintendent, and most recently the secretary to the superintendent. So we'd like to thank her here.
Now we have a special ed commission by the Board of Education. Well, why don't you take a stab at it as the president? Would you like to do that?
I don't want to stand at the microphone. It makes me look shorter than I am. The board would like to thank Mary Beth Stevens for her dedication and her time and her energy over the past 12 years. Being a board member, we spend 2 evenings a month here in this room, but we spent countless evenings attending to other functions within the district or attending ball games. I've seen Mary Beth at games here, there, and everywhere. She's been a mentor to many board members, including myself. I'll tell a little secret. When I became a board member, I had no clue when to ask a question. Okay? So I used to write them down. And I sat next to Mary Beth. And I'd write my little question down and I'd scoot it her way. And when the appropriate time came, she would ask the question. So the question was being answered, or being asked, and I was learning when the appropriate times came. We've always counted on Mary Beth to ask the tough questions and to demand answers to those questions. And we appreciate all the time and dedication that not only she, but her family has given to our children of Beacon City Schools. Thank you.
John Seawooding, you know, you can't just pick anybody to retire that you want.
I apologize, but I think the hoot threw me, you know, so I don't usually get flustered, but I do apologize. But we do have one new hire. He's here tonight, Lance Mill. He's a special ed social studies teacher. He came in as a leave replacement for half a year from September. Teacher came back just before the holidays, and I had a long discussion with Lance and indicated to him, you know, I do have another position. Thank you, Lance, if you would come up. There was another position as a teaching assistant, and he readily took that. He worked in our ISS room, and his work and relationship with, you know, some of the kids that are tougher was just phenomenal. And I saw this in the classroom, and I saw it in the ISS room, where he started to work with kids. We have the NovaNet program, and he rose to the challenge. I needed somebody to monitor kids that were on NovaNet, and he met with them, after school or in the ISS room, and we're seeing really some nice gains happening there. And as luck would have it, we had a probationary position, and we heartily recommended Lance for that position. Frank?
I just want to congratulate Lance. We knew that this guy was a teaching stud when he got here. He worked with some... I'm telling you, I observed him in a couple of classes where the kids had sent several teachers home crying. This guy really taught well. Kids learn in his class. They're attentive. He's creative. But I want to let you know, there were 135 applicants for this position, and the fact that you wore a white glove on your left hand to the interview had nothing to do with you being selected, okay? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the District and Board of Education, we'd like to add our congratulations to the new hires, the tenured recipients. May you have a long and successful career, and all the very best of health and happiness for all the retirees. On behalf of the board, we'd like to invite everyone into the dining hall for some